What's up, everybody? It's Jason Cruz here once again with another episode of The Legal Submission. And this time we're going to take a look at last month's ruling by Orange County Superior Court, which overturned a jury verdict based on the legal theory of illegality. And this regards Manny Pacquiao, as he was sued by his former management company, Attar's Paradigm Management, which traditionally manages MMA fighters. But as you might recall, about 3 or 4 years ago, Attar had signed up Manny Pacquiao to represent him inside and outside of the boxing ring. One might think the fact that Attar had signed Manny Pacquiao was to place him in a bout with his other client, Conor McGregor. And that appeared to be what was to transpire. Now, if you go back to the original signing, Paradigm had indicated that it was going to be the only manager and deal maker for Pacquiao. As you may recall, as you may know from prior history, Pacquiao has a reputation of having multiple people within his circle brokering deals for him. And as a result, there has been a very hard way deals to work with Pacquiao because there's so many people in the room representing Pacquiao on multiple things. So in order to avoid it, Paradigm had attempted to negotiate a deal in which they would be the sole people brokering deals for him. And what they had wanted to do initially, and based on inferences in the court record, they were going to have Pacquiao fight Mikey Garcia in the Middle East, at a venue in the Middle East. And then after that, fight Conor McGregor at the beginning of the year, and I believe it was 2021, maybe 22. I'm not sure about those dates. But it was clear that Pacquiao still had his own group going, and there were issues with respect to the deal. And as you may recall, it turned out to be Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao that was going to fight in August. We know now that Errol Spence suffered a car accident which prevented him from fighting Pacquiao, and it was Yordenis Ugas who got the call to fight Pacquiao. Ugas actually earned the unanimous decision in Pacquiao in what was to be, as of today, in 2024, Pacquiao's last real boxing match in a boxing ring, which ended in a loss to Ugas. Now, the lawsuit was filed about 3 years ago. It claimed that Pacquiao had taken an advance from Paradigm, and Paradigm was filing the lawsuit to get that money back, as well as claiming that there was a breach of contract between Paradigm and Pacquiao. So Pacquiao had filed a cross-complaint about in 2021, alleging a breach of contract as well. I believe even at that time they were making the argument that Attar was not a licensed boxing manager. Now, again, this was a mixed contract based on the description of it, and I'm not sure why, but Attar nor anyone in the office had a boxing manager's license in the state of California, which is going to be central to the ruling. So I had a timeline on a post I have on MMA Payout, but basically there was a motion for a non-suit during the trial, and judge denied that. The jury trial went on, and they found in 2023 that Paradigm was, so the case went to trial. Paradigm received a jury verdict in which they were to be granted $3.3 million, as well as an award of general damages in the amount of $1.8 million. So that includes the amount that was advanced to Pacquiao, as well as the breach of the contract. So Paradigm believed that it had scored this major victory. After the jury found in favor of Pacquiao, he had filed a motion to overturn the verdict, a JNOV, judgment notwithstanding. The verdict took a while because the court wanted extra briefings, and finally in July of this year, it ruled that the contract was illegal due to the fact that the contract was illegal because it did not include a licensed manager for boxers in the state of California. It was a requirement since they were in the state of California, and the fact that Pacquiao was signing that based on the fact that Paradigm were going to help him broker fights, and they would help him with the deals. So even if there were outside avenues of entertainment or other sports in which they would represent Pacquiao, the fact of the matter is that they still broker deals for boxing contracts, and as a result, the contract, as argued by Pacquiao's attorneys, was void, or became void. So what happened here basically is that with respect to a contract, a party can get out of the contract, meaning argue that the contract that they entered into is not valid, based on the fact of several reasons, and one of them is that the contract they entered into was actually illegal. And here again is the technical argument made by Pacquiao's attorneys, which basically says that since Attar and his company did not have a boxing license, they couldn't actually enter into a contract with Manny Pacquiao to find him fights because they did not have that particular license. Now, you can always argue that they were finding fights outside of the state of California. In fact, that the fight with Mikey Garcia wasn't going to happen in the United States. It was going to happen in the Middle East, maybe Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi. Who knows? But anyway, that's the argument that a Paradigm would make. But since Paradigm is based in California, and apparently that the contract negotiations were based on California law, it's hard to make that argument that you do not need a boxing license. In fact, you most likely would have to, and it's really hard to believe that no one in the office had some sort of license to manage in the state of California. But that is the case now. Now, what happens next? Well, obviously there is an opportunity for Paradigm to appeal. There is a belief that the trial court made an error. Now, this is an interesting issue right now, because it was the trial court that decided this. So they had a jury verdict. A jury heard the case in front of the trial court. The jury made the decision. Judge overturns the decision now, and so Paradigm can now appeal, or they could basically go to the state appellate court and make their case to the appellate court, requesting that they overturn the motion for judgment notwithstanding the verdict, and probably the relief they would ask is that they reinstate the jury verdict. We will see what happens next. It is very interesting because Manny Pacquiao wanted to actually settle the case before it went to trial, and they did not, and Paradigm did end up with a verdict, but the fact of the matter is now they end up spending more money with this lawsuit because of the overturning of the judgment, and now they're going to have to fight on the appeal. This is Jason Cruz with MMA Payouts and Legal Submission. Have a good day.